Okay folks, last demo for the day. Oh, I just kicked my shoes around. Ah, fuck, I hate that. They're on the floor in the way. So I just tend to they get in my way sometimes. We're not going to do negative, we're going to do it as a positive. Okay, let's see what we have to demo with. We have here an Elle magazine. I just call it Elle in my YouTube naming. I call it Elle. When I think of the word Elle, as in L, the letter L, it makes me think of the classes I was in, because for maths, English, and science, I was in all 3 L classes, and that was the lowest class. I don't know if it stands for low or if that was a coincidence, but basically I was in the bottom of all my classes. When I first got into high school, I was in the class that was second from the bottom, but then I fell behind with the disability that I have that was undiagnosed and still is. Well, basically I couldn't keep up, and I didn't like school because of my disability. The disability made learning really unpleasant and difficult. My mum told me years ago that I had a cord around my neck and I came out breech, and that's where the suspected brain damage occurred. So I had a lot of pressure applied to me at school and at home to perform, even though I couldn't. And they could have gone a bit easier on me if they had known there was something wrong. There was a reason why I was not succeeding in my classes and why I wasn't applying myself, because it's no fun trying to do something that you're not good at, and learning in class was something that I was not good at. So that looks really quite interesting. Maybe we could use that as our piece. So yeah, it was really a struggle. School was just no fun, and I really hated being treated like it was my fault that I was bottoming out in my classes for no good reason. Yeah, that's why diagnosis is very important. That's why it's very important when you're having problems like that to consider that your child might have a memory problem or something happened. But it was never mentioned. It was something that flew under the radar. I'm really smart, don't get me wrong. It's not like my whole brain's been damaged. It's just that certain parts that were required for learning were damaged, or they appear to be damaged. I'm not a doctor, so I can't give an actual diagnosis as to what the fuck went wrong when I was being born. But my mum used to tell me that I had a cord around my neck and I came out breech. But that's the problem with undiagnosed conditions, is not having the knowledge, because knowledge is power, folks. I know labels don't tell every story. I know people hate labels, but sometimes a label can be a real empowering thing, because it'll show you that you don't have to consider yourself a troublemaker just because you weren't achieving at school. that it's not your fault, that you were born with a cord around your neck and that you came out feet first and that the oxygen was starved and you could have been born dead. Stillborn. I don't know if stillborn is applied specifically for for a child who dies in the womb, or whether it can happen, like in my situation, due to oxygen starvation or some other trauma. But whatever it was, it really made it hard for me to learn, and it made it hard for me to perform to my parents and the teachers high expectations. And most people can see that I'm really smart. I could have probably been a scientist or a CEO if it wasn't for that birth trauma. But basically, I'm on a disability pension. I work in a sheltered workshop, and that's pretty much it. But this has come up looking really quite nice. I think now we can definitely call this demo quits.